Tonight,
what are you doing?
Outrage across the country.
Do you agree that we need to take care of those children?
We are taking care of those children. Your tax.
From town halls to Capitol Hill.
Child internment camps, that's what I said.
As the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy comes under fire, many up in arms as children are forcibly separated from their parents.
I support a plan that keeps families together while their immigration status is determined.
Seemingly all sides of the political spectrum united in what many say is a moral crisis unfolding on the southwest border. It was voices like this little girl's, heard in a recording, first obtained by ProPublica, that provided a glimpse into the consequences of the directive issued in April. The 6-year-old girl pleading repeatedly for someone to call her aunt. She is reportedly one of more than 2,300 children now separated from their parents. Some of these families fleeing violence and economic hardship in their native countries.
When I talk to these mothers and I say to them, would you have come here if you had known your child was going to be taken away? They just throw up their arms and say, what choice did I have? If I stayed in my country, I might have been killed. My son might have been killed. So it's essentially gratuitous cruelty.
The first stop for many detainees might be a facility like this one. I was allowed in just days ago.
Just finished a tour inside the facility, and it was really almost overwhelming.
But our cameras were not permitted. Cages, chain link fences, shown in these images released by U.S. Customs and Border Protection of one of the largest processing centers. This one housing more than 1,000 immigrants, many of them children. Those migrants wrapped in Mylar blankets to stay warm. Some families could be separated here or at another facility.
It doesn't matter how good the facility is because the harm is done by the separation. A 3-year-old who's ripped from their parents isn't going to say, okay, I'm fine now because I have a coloring book. They're just going to be asking, where is my mommy every single night?
Say it loud, say it clear. Immigrants are welcome here.
Here in the border town of El Paso, where the effects of immigration policy are keenly felt, families in solidarity for the ones being torn apart.
The building of the wall is not something that we want. The denying of due process to the people who are coming in, the denying of due process to the children that are being detained in cages. This is heartbreaking to us.
My colleague Gio Benitez was there.
As a mother, what do you tell your kids when they see these pictures on television?
That we're very lucky and we have to stand up for people that don't have voices themselves.
Faith leaders also responded in Washington.
This practice ends today, right now, without hesitation, without another statement. It is right now.
That moral responsibility shared by some in Washington.
What country is that? This is the United States of America.
Representative Elijah Cummings visibly emotional.
We need you to remind him that this is the United States of America, and it is a great country, and we need you to stand up for those children.
Senator Bob Menendez playing sounds of those crying children on the Senate floor.
How do you submit the cries of innocent children to the congressional record?
Members from the president's own party saying a more permanent fix is needed.
A lot of us have said publicly we'd like to see this fixed, that I don't think this is going to age well over time, and we'll see where the administration comes out.
I don't think anybody likes to see these images or the reality of children being separated from their parents.
The White House says the president doesn't want a quick fix. He wants immigration reform and his wall. Today, doubling down on his policy.
I don't want children taken away from parents. And when you prosecute the parents for coming in illegally, which should happen, you have to take the children away.
Once again, pushing the false claim that separating children at the border is required by law.
There is no law that mandates that when a family is captured by Border Patrol as they cross the border, that children should be separated from their parents. There is a law, a criminal law against illegal border crossing, but it's a question of priority. We don't arrest everybody for every minor offense.
Try and think of another place in the United States, any state or federal misdemeanor law, where there's zero discretion and they say, we're going to put someone in jail for this misdemeanor, even if it means we send a child to foster care. That never happens.
Tonight, the president had a closed-door meeting with House Republicans who are preparing to vote on 2 bills to address the crisis. President Trump reportedly telling them his daughter Ivanka showed him images of children in detention facilities and encouraged him to end the policy.
The president did put his blessing behind a moderate bill that would increase border wall funding, provide legal status for Dreamers, and put a stop to the policy of family separations. Even if the president was a little scattered in this meeting here tonight, House Republicans say they are taking his words and running with them. And now it's their job to pass this bill.
But insiders saying to some Republicans there's zero sense of whether the bills will pass and what exactly the president wants. Earlier today, I joined Border Patrol agent Ken Kroupa for a ride-along.
We're going to work our way towards the south side of Laredo.
Where political climate aside, they still have a job to do.
We're here to protect the people of our country. When you talk about down here on the border, you just never know what the threat is.
He brought us down towards the Rio Grande, an area emblematic of the complexities of the border. Some make the desperate journey seeking a safe haven, while others try crossing it to traffic drugs.
Sometimes it's sad to see these people, they're put in danger. They pay all this money to these smugglers and, you know, thinking they're coming over here to get a better life, but they get put in these positions where, you know, it's dangerous to cross the river. People drown all the time.
The family separations, that's been happening, and you all are kind of on the front line of that.
So when we encounter a family unit out in the field, first thing we do is we make sure that everybody's okay. They get any kind of attention they need, food, water, anything like that, medical attention if they need it. And then, you know, once they're secure, we'll transport them to our processing center where they'll be interviewed, they'll be talked to, debriefed, and then they'll establish the correct path forward with processing those individuals and those family units.
And I mean, is it easy for you to do that kind of thing?
It's a required process. It's our job. And when it comes down to it, that's the most important thing.
We get a tip about a potential stash house.
We're heading to a residence. Based on the information that was provided, the agents went and did surveillance, and they have reason to believe that there's additional illegal aliens inside that residence. Is there anybody in the back?
The 7 men are under investigation, and we don't know what brought them over the border.
Or line them up on the wall or something.
But immigration advocates say that most who cross the border illegally are doing so to seek safety.
What's happened under this administration is the attempt to dehumanize immigrants and make it seem like they're all hardcore criminals, all members of gangs. I mean, what we always ask people are, think about the immigrant you know. Think about the immigrant who you work with, who you live next to.
Tonight, as more undocumented families face detention and the possibility that their children will be taken from them, advocates are taking their battle to court. The ACLU, among others, have filed a lawsuit asking for a nationwide injunction, ending this policy and reuniting families.
There were lines that people would say, no, enough is enough, and it won't matter whether you're liberal or conservative. I think people are pushing, especially parents, thinking about if their 3-year-old or 4-year-old were in this situation, and they're saying, look, enough.
For Nightline, I'm Marcus Moore in Laredo, Texas.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.